Sharjah does not disappoint, but certainly if you're bowlers that you may disagree, but it continues to give audiences that enjoy the big hits and the big scores real value for their viewership, if not their money. This is Whirlpool presents ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout powered by Dell. 228, the highest score by any team in this year's tournament, registered by the Delhi Capitals, led by their captain Shreyas Iyer, with an outstanding 88 of 38 balls. So should make for a thrilling halftime conversation with Gautam Gambhir and Sanjay Manjrekar on Whirlpool presenting ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout, powered by Dell. Sanjay, enjoyed that? Some serious hitting.
Yeah, powered by Prithvi Shaw first, and then Shreyas Iyer, and then Rishabh Pant. So the Indian contingent of that Delhi Capitals team really came to the fore. First of all, thank you very much to the bowlers for turning up at Sharjah. It was very nice of them. So we have to show our gratitude that they turned up despite what's been happening in Sharjah. And you can say flat pace, small ground, and stuff like that. But Shreyas Iyer's innings tonight, Prithvi Shaw set the bar, but Shreyas Iyer, we've known him to be especially attacking against spin, but today he played some quality shots both against pace and spin. Sunil Narayan just bowling the 2 overs tells you that something went wrong today with KKR. So brilliant batting, but the great thing is, again, at halftime, you can't say that they've got a winning score on the board.
Wow. Okay. Gautam, your first thoughts?
Again, at 200 was a power score. So obviously they've got 221, which is a huge score. But it's not that it can't be chased. It can actually be chased with the kind of batting lineup obviously KKR has. But then again, 221 chasing on any ground is difficult. But then when you go into Sharjah, you actually expect to chase something around 200. So I'm sure the batters and the entire batting lineup would be actually mentally prepared to chase 200. Now they have to chase 220 odd. So obviously it's pretty much chaseable.
Let's talk about the hitting though, Gautam, and we'll talk about the bowling and where KKR got it wrong and what Delhi could possibly do with the ball differently. But just the sheer hitting of it, when things go right for you, this is how it looks. We've criticized the Delhi batting of perhaps not clicking together or not having the right tempo from the top. But when it's gone right, it's gone very right.
Yeah, because they've played 3 games on tough wickets and on bigger grounds. So obviously, when you come to Sharjah, you can go out there and express yourself, which obviously plays into your hands as well. And I'm sure it's going to be exactly the same with KKR as well. See, it's going to be an exciting game either way.
Yeah.
If it's going to get chased, or it's going to be a close one, or it's going to be a one-sided one. See, all these 3 things can happen. It's not going to be like what happened Chennai versus I think it was the RR, that it was dragging along, and then in the end, obviously MS was able to hit 3 sixes in the last over. I'm sure that KKR either will go completely all out chasing this total, or they might just be able to chase the total, or it's going to be a one-sided affair. So whatever said and done, it's going to be an exciting one in the second innings.
All right. Just before we talk about KKR's bowling, just a thought, Sanjay. We're drifting away from the conversation, but what Gautam said, playing at tougher surfaces and coming to Sharjah versus starting at Sharjah and going to Dubai and Abu Dhabi like the Rajasthan Royals have and have lost both games since. Could that be a bit of an equation? Is it actually an advantage to first play in Dubai and Abu Dhabi and then come to Sharjah?
I don't know. I mean, it works both ways, actually. If you get a couple of good scores on a flat pitch in Sharjah, like a Sanju Samson, you go into slightly more difficult conditions to bat on with some runs under your belt. So that's always a help. I thought Delhi played like this more because they were not chasing. They had to set a target, so they had no choice. They knew this is Sharjah, and 200 was basic minimum. The other day when they were going about their business, they knew they had a target of 160, so they were taking their time. But today, they've shown us, albeit in excellent batting conditions, that if they want to just take every ball as it comes. Shreyas Iyer, I mean, the kind of shots that he played, there was one that he played against Varun very late in the innings. Prithvi Shaw, young kid, little guy, pulling Cummins to anything that was short. So it was not just about how many runs you scored, just the quality of shots actually was breathtaking. Rishabh Pant hitting one on the roof was just brilliant to watch. But having said that, one very important thing that we've got to note, in that KKR attack, you've got 3 raw bowlers. Maybe they're talented, but they're pretty raw. In Mavi, Nagar Koti, and to an extent Varun. But when you look at the Delhi Capitals bowling attack, you're looking at a lot of experience. So that is where you have to go with Delhi making a match of this one.
Let's have that conversation then. Gautam, what could the Knight Riders have done differently, either with ball or with tactics?
See, poor captaincy again. You can't end up giving 19th over on a smaller ground to a young spinner. And you've got, if you had to go to the spinner, then it had to be Sunil Narayan. So you got to back your main spinner. Yes, he's gone for plenty in the 2 overs, but then again, you got to back your best bowlers to bowl the last 3 or 4 overs, whether it's Pat Cummins, Sunil Narayan, if it has to go with the spinner. So that's somewhere I thought that there has been times where Sunil Narayan has got for runs, but then you got to back him. The only way you can get him back in confidence is by trying and making him bowl all the 4 overs. He has a look the Sunil Narayan of old in last 4 games, especially from the bowling point of view. But then you got to back him. If you're playing him, he's not playing as a batting all rounder. He's playing as a bowling all rounder. So if 19th over had to be bowled by the spinner, so it had to be Sunil Narayan.
Can there be a case that the senior spinner says, "I don't want to bowl it"? Has that ever happened in your time?
You know, I remember. I think probably he's the only one. He's the only spinner I've actually captained who was willing to bowl the 20th over as well, and he's actually bowled the 20th over in IPL. I have never captained any spinner in my entire career, whether it's in Ranji Trophy, whether it's in IPL, or which games I've captained for India. No spinner in my entire career has ever actually put his hand up and said that I want to bowl the 20th over. He's done that again against Pollard at Katak, and he actually went for only 1 or 2 runs. So he has that power. Yes, he can go for runs. So that's what I'm saying. When a batter gets out early, you still back him to play a couple of more games. If he's gone for 2 overs for too many, you still back him. You give him that confidence that it's okay, fine, we are willing to chase 200. So that probably was miscalculation, and Dinesh Karthik needs to learn because he's into his third year of captaincy.
Yeah, and you had options, Sanjay. You had both Mavi and Nagarkoti, and everyone's been expensive on the night. So why give it to your young or raw, in your words, raw spinner rather than one of the raw pacers, where Mavi's done the job in previous games for you at the death?
Yeah, but if you look at their bowling on the night, Mavi was expensive. You can sense the confidence of a bowler as well. The captain is very close to the bowler. They're young. They were getting carted around. Shreyas Iyer was hitting the fast bowlers. Rishabh Pant as well. Difficult conditions, difficult batsman. Same with Nagarkoti. But Gautam's point is well made. Although Narayan had 2 expensive overs, he was the man to go to. Again, Dinesh Karthik took a call on who was the better bowler on the night. And it was Varun actually who had out-bowled Narayan until then in the match. So he went for current form. But I back Gautam's point that when it comes to the final over or the last 2 overs, go for experience. And let me quickly finish on Andre Russell as well. We'll rave about the batting that has happened. This guy has finished with 29 runs of his 4 overs. On a pitch like that, when the opposition has got 227 and he's not bowled the easy overs. So hats off to this guy because he's done it with the ball, and now there is a good chance that KKR will be relying heavily on Andre Russell to take them through if they want to win this game.
Right. Before we talk about KKR's batting, let's talk about Delhi's bowling. It seems like there's a collective experience which is richer in Delhi's bowling. Gautam Ashwin, Amit Mishra, Rabada, Harshal Patel's been around for a while. Nauke still young, but seems to have had a good tournament so far. Are you expecting them to bowl better? And from what they've seen in the first innings, what can they do to make sure that things don't leak the way they did when KKR were in the field?
See, one good thing is they've got runs on the board, and they've got lots and lots of runs on the board. So they can actually experiment. And they should be willing to, when they walk onto the cricket field, they should be expecting that obviously KKR will come hard at them, and there could be a situation where KKR could be off to a flyer as well. But then this is what experience is there for. People like Amit Mishra, people like Ashwin, all these guys will be able to handle those situations better than probably the young kids who were bowling for KKR. But then again, sometimes under pressure you can crumble. So this is the test of Delhi's bowling as well, with people like Amit Mishra and Ravichandran Ashwin, because we know that the best have crumbled under pressure. So this is where actually they need to put their hand up and say, yes, the management has backed us on a smaller ground against a lot of firepower. Let's see how they respond.
You're a big fan of Rabada, aren't you, Sanjay? You'd think that class would show on the most challenging pitches for bowlers?
Yeah, you'll see him bowl into the body of the batsman to begin with. Sunil Narayan, that is going to be interesting whether he's going to be opening against an attack that's got Rabada and Nauke. Do they want to start off with? I'm just having a quick look at the screen.
Yeah,
Shubman Gill
I'm
definitely.
keeping an eye too. I'm keeping an eye to let you know.
So, yeah. So we'll see whether Narayan comes out and takes on these fast bowlers. It's not going to be
I guess-
easy for Gill. Actually, it's going to be interesting because he's looking at a target of over 200. Now, this is a guy who has shown us 2 gears. Does he have that gear as a batsman at the top of the order? Having said that, I think the 3 most dangerous batsmen for Delhi Capitals obviously will be first Andre Russell, Morgan. He started to get a few runs. His confidence is high, and Dinesh Karthik, if he stays down and just bats freely, who knows, it could be one of those Nidahasa nights for him.
All right. I guess that is the conversation on Andre Russell. Gautam, please.
See, honestly, I want to see Andre Russell batting at number 4.
That's what I was coming to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or number 3.
So
See,
would there be a plan of how much time do we give Andre Russell? This
doesn't matter. If you want to go down positively. Don't go down negatively. Don't
See, last
think
night
that
he went number 4, Gautam. Last night he went number 4.
Irrespective. Because last match, he actually got a platform. That's where they could put him. But today is an opportunity. Smaller ground, flatter wicket is an opportunity where you can actually, irrespective, even if they end up losing 2 early wickets, stand him at number 4. Probably he can get you a 30 ball 100.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you're looking at, right? Even if he doesn't stay till the end, Sanjay, if Russell comes in even in the 3rd or 4th over if 2 wickets fall and gets you a 30 ball 60 or a 65, then you're back in the game. Would you want to go that way too? Don't keep Russell for the last 8 or 9 overs.
No, he definitely has to be in the top 4 because Rana does a pretty good job. If you watch him bat these days, he's coming in and blazing away straight away. So Russell at 4, and then Morgan, please, and then Dinesh Karthik for the last few overs, and let's see whether it's one of his nights. But Russell is one of those guys who's not just a slogger when few overs are left. This is a guy who can plan an inning. And as my guest fellow colleague said, this is a night where a guy must have the night of his life. He has to get 100 in a 35-40 ball, innings for them to win.
Shubman Gill is there. I'm very curious to see whether he's partnered with Tripathi or by Sunil Narayan. So it is Sunil Narayan. Are you happy with that call?
I'm fine with it.
You're fine with it.
It really doesn't bother me who opens the batting. All that bothers me is that who bats at number 3 and number 4. And as I said it earlier as well, if you want to go down, you go down positively. You go down fighting, not like probably how Chennai goes about the business. That a lot of probably you don't need to chase 115 last 10 overs. Rather, it's easier to chase 220 in 20 overs. So Andre Russell is the guy who should be batting at number 3 or probably even number 4.
All right, let's hope for a good one, right? We want to see a game where the team goes for it. That'll make for a fun conversation at the end of it with Sanjay Manjrekar and Gautam Gambhir. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for your time and your thoughts. Let's keep an eye on how Russell goes when he comes in, how long he stays for. That should decide the game. We'll talk about it at the end of it on Whirlpool Presents ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout, powered by Dell.
Thank you.